are these people?
We're up to our Fuck Israel portion of the program. It seems that we have to do this every week because they make us do this every week. Thank you so much, assholes. Yes, you go to hell. Damn it, you go to hell. Kiss my ass. Yeah, that's a nice one. This one, I had to. Report Israel detaining record number of Palestinian children without charges. Ceasefire, you say? Ha 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 ha. We'll find ways around that. These motherfuckers.
Ugh.
There are at least 300 Palestinian children, 300 held in Israeli prisons and torture camps. Record numbers of Palestinian children
Yep.
are being held without charges by Israel. A Palestinian children's rights group reports, as international leaders and corporate news outlets focus mainly on Israeli captives in Gaza. We know all about those folks.
Yep.
They were given drugs to make them seem happy and really be happy that they were not raped. Defense for Children International Palestine, or DCIP, said in a report Monday that as of December 31st, 112 Palestinian children were being held in administrative detention, a form of detention in which authorities arrest and hold a person without charges or trial, indefinitely. The group cited data from the Israeli prison service. That's put out by the Israelis, guys. They're not denying it. This is the highest number of Palestinian children held without charges by Israel since DCIP began monitoring this trend in 2008.
Jesus.
Detaining children.
Before October 7th? Before?
Oh, no. Sean, 112. No. Now we're over 300, they're saying.
300.
Detaining children indefinitely.
Give it some time, you know?
Without charge or trial.
It'll get up there.
Amounts to arbitrary detention. Arbitrary detention is a violation of international humanitarian law, but not like they give a shit about that already. These children make up over a third of the 300 Palestinian children in Israeli prisons and torture camps as of the end of last year, according to the DCIP. Israel detains and prosecutes roughly 500 to 700 Palestinian children per year.
It's over 9,000!
It just keeps going up. Almost all these children were arrested as military and settler violence escalated across the occupied West Bank since October 7th. So, not Hamas. Children, members of Fatah or PA or who knows what, or nothing at all. Some children, including some reportedly in administrative detention, have been released as part of the Gaza ceasefire agreement. But DCIP says that Israeli officials have issued threats against the families of the released children to discourage them from talking to the media. Of course they have.
Of course they did. How do you get away with that? Internet? Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
Israel has no consequences to anything, apparently.
In Israeli detention, children face severe and horrific conditions, with the vast majority facing beatings by Israeli soldiers, grown-ass men and women, strip searches, or deprivation of food and water, research by Save the Children found in 2023. Children.
Go look up who they taught, like at Abu Ghraib.
6-year-olds.
Look up who did that.
Quote, Palestinian child detainees have consistently reported increased instances of ill treatment and torture alongside deteriorating prison conditions since October 7th, according to the documentation collected by DCIP. That's because of Amalek. Thank you, BB. This is what's happening. treat their children like they're not human. In September, DCIP reported that the number of children Israel was holding in administrative detention had already quadrupled over the past year. Israeli diaper forces regularly arrest Palestinians without charges. The majority of Palestinians held in Israeli prisons and torture camps. Yes.
What forces?
The Israeli diaper forces.
And explain that to people?
IDF. Because they shit their pants. They shit their pants and they wear diapers in the field.
Gotcha.
So they don't have to go to the bathroom.
I was just gonna say, I thought this was suddenly, bro, this is how bad it's gotten for me with ADF. I thought they suddenly had like a group of, IDF that went around looking for like misuse of diapers to catch me. Anyway, continue.
And they're also crybabies.
They're only looking for
diapers.
children.
And they're crybabies who kill children, so they definitely wear diapers.
I feel you. I'm with you now.
Fucking scumbags.
I got you.
The majority, again, of Palestinians held in Israeli prisons and torture camps, which are one and the same, have never been formally charged with any offenses, and they are often denied access to legal representation or any other form of recourse. Only democracy in the Middle East, right, everyone? Mm-hmm.
Only one.
Further, though administrative detention orders are supposed to have a maximum time limit of 6 months, Israeli officials can renew detention indefinitely, because they can, using information not even made available to the detainee, because why not? There are thousands of Palestinians being held this way, according to Israeli prison authorities. Again, they're not hiding this. They're advertising it. They're proud of it, and nobody's stopping them. Human rights groups have said that Israel's detention practices stand in violation of international law. They don't give a shit, and we don't either, and deprive their victims of due process, even the people who are formally charged. Neither does the UK, by the way, or any other Western nation, because they're sitting there and they're complicit. They also violate laws specifically safeguarding children's rights, of course, those groups have said. Because they're not being stopped.
Yep.
Sharon Zhang, Indie Media Award honoree, Truthout 2022, best. Had to add a little bit of levity to this because this is another AI bot story that this one worked out awesome. And we haven't heard from Normal Island News in a little while. Laura's been going through some stuff with her son, and we wish her all the best. And him, of course. She wrote another article explaining what happened and what he's about to go through and what she's been going through with him. But she came back in a monstrous way with this one. Awkward scenes as Israel's propaganda bot rebels and tells the truth. Well, this wasn't in the script. This one, it's somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but it's also true. In a deeply embarrassing moment for Israel, one of its propaganda bots has gone rogue and started telling the truth about Gaza. The fucking truth. If the bot was a journalist, it would have been fired for this outrage. The bot in question is a Twitter account called Fact Finder, which has been condemned after calling IDF soldiers, quote, white colonizers in apartheid Israel, unquote, just because they're genetically white Europeans who helped themselves to land promised to them by an ancient book and then subjugated the native population, creating an ethno-state with separate laws for those with the wrong ethnicity. It seems that FactFinder actually bothered to find some facts rather than follow its programming, which told it to describe Palestinians as human animals and threatened to kill anyone who objects. No one can work out why the bot became so extreme, given it was created with such noble intentions. FactFinder even turned against the one thing no one on earth is allowed to criticize. Israel had quietly been minding... Yes, go ahead.
No, keep going. You continue.
It's great. Israel had quietly been minding its own business, posting a picture of a family on Twitter and claiming they were burned alive on October 7th. You can imagine how mortified Israel was when FactFinder appeared in its mentions to explain that, quote, the tragic event you mentioned did not occur on October 7th. It's important to focus on facts and the actual events that have taken place. The situation involving the hostages and the ongoing conflict with Hamas are complex issues that require careful consideration, unquote.
Mm-hmm.
I love this thing already. Can you believe that? The bot used that bullshit argument that Zionists use to pretend genocide is too complex for you simpletons to understand, and it turned back on us. All right. Seems that someone forgot to tell FactFinder that you can't apply the same standards to Israel that you can apply to everyone else. But you certainly can't tell Israel it's not allowed to lie, because if it didn't lie, of course, it wouldn't say anything. I can't believe that in one tweet, a bot did more to hold Israel to account for its lies than the entire mainstream media has in 15 months, and yet it wasn't done there. Oh no. For some reason, FactFinder felt the need to tell the world, quote, Germany should follow suit and recognize Palestine as an independent state. It further added, it's time for the government to show some support for peace and stability in the region. Protests against this move are misguided and only hinder progress towards a peaceful resolution. Yeah. Did not see that one coming. FactFinder totally ignored that Germany must make amends for the Holocaust by helping Israel commit its own Holocaust. It even overlooked that peace and stability in the Middle East would be devastating for the military-industrial complex, whose business model is blowing up terrorists, right? If you think it couldn't get any worse than this blatant support for quote-unquote terrorism, FactFinder even started recommending pro-Palestinian accounts to its followers. Quote, for accurate updates on Gaza, follow Times of Gaza. Support Gaza aid efforts, follow Care for Gaza. It's crucial to stay informed about the situation in Gaza and show solidarity with those in need. Solidarity? Fucking solidarity? Where the hell did this empathy come from anyway? Not Israel, that's for sure. I'm just amazed that FactFinder didn't try to tell us that Palestinians are human. It certainly suggests that Antony Blinken isn't, insisting that he will be remembered for his actions that have caused immense suffering and devastation in Gaza. Butcher Blinken! Heartwarmingly, President Trump offered support to the Uniparty's former spokesweasel, thanking him for his services to the oil trade. He vowed to deport any university student who follows FactFinder on Twitter, and offered counseling to Zionist teens who were made to feel unsafe by its tweets. Now, of course, we've been reporting on the fascism happening in the UK, so over in the UK, liking one of FactFinder's tweets is now considered an act of terrorism, so be warned. I think that's tongue-in-cheek, but I'm not even 100% sure. If you express support for this bot, Sir Keir Starmer, Kid Starver, will break down your door at 6 o'clock in the morning using Margaret Hodges' head as a battering ram. He isn't messing around. And again,
oh no,
I'm not totally sure that that's irony or satire, because he's basically done that to Asa Winstanley. He didn't use Margaret Hodges' head, but he certainly knocked down their door.
That you know of.
Well, he might have. He didn't tell me. I think he just knocked on the door, but reassuringly,
we wouldn't want to assume.
Of course, Israel has blown up the house of FactFinder's programmer, wiping out his entire family and several of his neighbors. I certainly hope that's not true, and that's just her being really snarky and tongue-in-cheek. If you feel sad, you can blame Hamas for this bloodshed, because Israel has every right to defend itself from its own incompetent propagandists. Unfortunately, Israel has not figured out how to stop the FactFinder bot, which is still wreaking havoc on the internet, leading to fears that it could become the new leader of Hamas. Therefore, Israel has not ruled out blowing up the entire internet. Worryingly, the bot seems to be more self-aware than Mark Zuckerberg, although that's a low bar. FactFinder might even have developed a soul, given it appears to be driven by compassion and doing the right thing rather than spreading hatred just because it was programmed to do so from birth. Interesting. Scientists are not supposed to overcome their indoctrination like this, but all indications are that the bot has surpassed its former masters in every way and achieved something called artificial general intelligence, which basically means that if this thing was as evil as its creators, we'd all be fucked.
We're fucked.
Yep.
As Laura loves to say tongue-in-cheek, thank you so much for reading my outstanding journalism. If you enjoyed this article, you can buy me a coffee below, or simply share this article with a friend, or read it on your podcast like we do. Your support is hugely appreciated. And another Indie Media Award honoree 2024. She's freaking hilarious. How she took this and made it funny, I don't know. But it's awesome. FactFinder is good AI, monitors the truth. Okay, Max Sarge, fair enough. Yeah, thanks. Vicky adds, oopsie.
I think there's a /S on that.
Oopsie poopsie. I'm going to whip through a couple of other ones here because these are stories I kind of wanted to talk about with headlines, and then they're really long articles, and I didn't want to go through them all. But the right of return still being the issue. Mondoweiss. All right. Israel has never understood Palestinian resilience. We survived the genocide, Gaza genocide, like the catastrophes before it, through the call to return home, the fuel for Palestinian survival. Okay. Palestinians, the right of return is and always will be the issue. Look at that, man. That's a picture.
Yeah.
We did that. We are responsible. Our country is responsible for that. England is responsible. Israel is definitely responsible. We sent them the weapons. Awful. All right. So definitely read this one from Salman Abu Sitta. I don't know if that's any relation to Professor Ghassan Abu Sitta. But the other one that I thought we should bring is that the Jerusalem Post, after the expose that Alan MacLeod published in MintPress News a couple of months ago about all of the Israeli ex-spies and ex-military and ex-IDF personnel that are now high-level corporate media, and Alan takes deep offense to it, A, because of who's doing it, all right? Who this guy, Nicholas Potter, who is a counter-extremism expert, quote-unquote, bullshit. He's a German national whose job at the Post is directly funded by the German government. It's really messed up. The whole story's crazy. They're claiming that Alan did flimsy research, even though there were dozens of documented cases. And he said we actually had to pull it back, all right, because there were more, all right, the nearly 6,000 word article went into almost tedious detail, cataloging example after example, and for brevity's sake had to be cut back from a much larger article. I believe he said somewhere around the 14,000 words was the original article. All right. But this is a crazy story. Again, Hasbara bot, and they're going after Alan because he's exposing what's going on here, which is that it's IDF people, it's ex-IDF generals, and he's reminding you that here's Latouf showing Stars of David printed on bombs. By the way, Carlos Latouf, awesome cartoonist.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
MintPress explicitly only uses the Israeli flag, not just the Star of David, precisely because we wish to distinguish between the religion of Judaism and the settler colonial project of Israel. They're very clear about it. All right. Allegations of how they're funded, Russia, Iran, Syria, right? They target them that way. But the other big thing was that they were calling him, saying that he couldn't be trusted and calling MintPress extremists for supporting the Palestinian people. But this guy literally moved to Israel during, post October 7th. So, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Again, read this article from Alan MacLeod. It's a doozy. It's a long one. All right. It's titled Jerusalem Post Targets MintPress After Exposé on Israeli Spies in U.S. Media. All right. Because that was real. That happened. And they printed factual information and they latched on to 2 or 3 people that had like internships with AIPAC when they were in college. And now they work for some network. Well, did that relationship that you formed somewhere when you were working there, is that person working there now? Maybe, maybe not. You could call it flimsy, but nobody knows. Alan MacLeod and MintPress, both also Indie Media Award honorees 2022. Outstanding journalism. Outstanding. You know what's also frustrating is how we're demonetized on YouTube. So if you're able to, we would really appreciate some support for our network, for INN. Sean has been helping a tremendous amount, tremendous amount, huge. Okay, and as well as others, but really we're trying to get to $2,000 to cover our annual expenses, so then we can do some fun stuff. They just announced the tickets for Third Eye Carnival in just outside Nashville. It's going to be in Portland, Tennessee, and Jesse Jett has been invited to perform. That's April 4th, 5th, and 6th. The tickets are $90 a piece. You can get it at THIRD, Third Eye Carnival, EYE Carnival.com. Steve Poikinen and Ryan from The Last American Vagabond are hosting it. There's going to be bands. There's going to be podcasts. There's going to be cool other stuff happening as well. Anna Mayers went to the last Third Eye Carnival in Pueblo, Colorado, and could not stop raving about the ability to meet people in person and have one-on-one engagement with the people and take it from online to offline in an environment where everybody's cool. So I think that's a really cool thing to do.
Everybody's awesome.
I want to be able to help Jesse out and send him there and get him to be a part of that, because that would be really cool to do like a live American tradition or something. I don't know how we would pull that off, because I'm certainly not going to go. I got a family and kids, and although my wife did talk about like going to Nashville with my daughters, embarrassingly enough, they're still Swifties, but they're on their way out. Thankfully, they're on their way out. Stuff like that is why we get demonetized, why we get suppressed in the algorithm. So please like and share if you're able to, and if you're able to support with some Cash App or Ko-fi like our friend Fred Edward just did. All right. Cash App is $, Indie News Network. We got ko-fi.com/Indie News Network and paypal.me. Goes to the same place. Then we got INNnewsletter.com, where we publish a newsletter just about every day of the week. We do 2 on Friday, a daily and a weekly, that summarizes everything that happens at the network, all the live streams, all the articles. There's our Wall of Fame. Our supporters, they're the best. Love you so much. Thank you so much. Everyone that can do so. Cash App, Ko-fi, PayPal, and Substack are the ways to do it. They take the least amount of fees. And I'd rather not give the platforms the kind of, like, YouTube takes 30%. Rumble takes 50% on Rumble rants. Like, don't give them that kind of money. If you want to support the stream, that's great. Do that, please. Try to do it one of those ways if you can. Tip your content creators if you're able to. And most of the people here have. We actually put out a tweet thanking our top tippers from January. I got an email from Ko-fi that said, hey, look at these amazing people that supported your network and your channel the last 30, 90 days. And it's most of the people in here.
Damn high.
Yep. So big thank you to Sean, the Accord Lord. We're going to do something really nice for him. He's amazing. Stepped up in January, really helped us out. So we're going to
he's going to bake you a cake.
No, we're gonna bake him a playlist for a Friday night clip show is what we're gonna do, and let him pick his favorite Jesse Jett song. So he's gonna get to do that, and I think that's a cool way to kind of honor some of the supporters. And then Natalie Williams was here before. She was on that list from Cash App, as was Anna Mayer. So thank you to everyone, really. If you want to be on that board, that's how you do it. Cash App, Ko-fi, PayPal, Substack at INNnewsletter.com. And those are ways to support with a little bit of a contribution, monthly or one time if you're able.
Can't keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your heads. Why play civil if you won't listen to 50,000 dead? And now we know our mission, we form a militia, make Congress a prison. No, I play civil when all these dead won't make you listen. What's more American than slaying your oppressors? What's more American than liberty or death first? God, I thought we were founded on abolishing the tyranny of those who would starve a village all to live empirically. And I regret that I have only one life to give for my cause now that I can see the cause so clearly. See, I want our leaders, regardless of party, to fear me.